but it's really blossomed into so much
more. Yeah.
With a beautiful community, with an incredible game that's soon to launch, and backed by some incredible partners. And really, like, what we do here at this studio is we create really cool technology and put that technology behind really strong franchisable brands. My Pet Hooligan being the first and flagship of that.
Yeah. Huge shout out, by the way, to the Carrot Gang. I see a lot of you guys in here. What up, J-Dunk, Stacks, Aches, Ryan, Hurricane, who
he's scrolling. He's going to read the whole list.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of you.
All right, everybody.
I'll tell you, I love you all. Appreciate you guys.
It's like when you belong to like someone's Patreon at the end, like they'll just read the list, and as they grow, it's like the last whole 5 minutes is them just reading
couple of like lines that I can see. I'm like, oh, these are all my friends in here.
Let's go. They came out to show out, man. I love it.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having us on here too. I got to say, always being able to take part in for myself, I'm always sitting behind a computer screen. I'm always, either behind a computer screen or out on the floor, and to be able to take place in other spaces and stuff like that. And
just come hop in.
Yeah. Learn about what you guys do, learn about, what other folks are doing out there. And then also just, we're so passionate and excited about like what we get to do that it's fun to get to, hop on and share and talk about it. But also, I wouldn't be doing today justice if I didn't wish you and everybody else a happy May the 4th be with you. And I love
be with you all.
Yeah, love that's the name of the spaces here today. So thanks for having us. And yeah, man, any way you want to take this conversation, man, we can dive on any way. And I'm sure at any point here you're gonna hear a really loud screaming dude named Hooli jumping in and taking over.
So through at some point, so be prepared. Yeah. And just one last note about the IP brand and game. Obviously, you guys know about the game that we're building. This is going to be one of the top tier, not only Web3 games, but now at this point, I think we can confidently say one of the we're very, very confident in the product that we're building. This is going to be a kick-ass game.
Yeah, it's web. I mean, yes, it is 100%. Like we have a really great ability to be the leaders in Web3 gaming, but also we have this unique opportunity to have the new strongest breakout product in gaming, both Web 2 and Web 3.
Yeah.
And really, the traditional game, really, the hardest thing to do, whether it's creating a feature film or a TV series or a game, the hardest thing to do is make something that resonates with people, that people like. We've achieved that here. That's the hardest thing to do. Like that's
come up with an IP that people actually give a damn about.
You can get the best team behind it. You can get the best technology, but if people don't identify with your product, or they don't,
the characters,
it doesn't catch them.
The brand,
then
the vibe.
Then you're starting off from kind of left foot there, and a little bit behind the curve. But from what we've been able to create and what we have at the game, we got a really, really bright future with this thing, and we are just at the beginning of it. So
yeah, and
pretty exciting.
Appreciate you guys being on that journey with us since day one, because I know non-fungible, you guys have been here, you guys have been amazing early supporters, and we really, really do appreciate it. It's not lost on us. So thank you.
Let's go. Yeah, so I want to start off the conversation by asking, so obviously we're rebels, you guys are hooligans, so we like to have fun, stir up a little bit of trouble, but all for a good cause. So, what is a hooligan? How did you guys, specifically land on that? Because I know when I first saw My Pet Hooligan, the branding, everything, it resonated with me. It reminded me of one of my favorite games for N64, which was Conker's Bad Fur Day. I don't know why that's where I landed, but that's where I landed, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a hit. And surely you guys have taken off. You guys have shown some amazing things, like you said. You've taken it outside of just the project, but to so many levels. Even with what you guys did with the facial recognition, where you could put Hooli over your face and do dancing and stuff. But to bring it back, what's the hooligan? How did you guys land on this with the branding and the character?
No, that's a great question, and you definitely hit right on the money with Conquerors there, because for us, there's whenever you're creating something or whenever you're kind of throwing ideas against the wall, it's always it's a little bit of this mixed with that. It's a little bit of this if you have these characters and those characters, and kind of pull all these likenesses together. Colin Brady, our chief creative officer, he's he was early Pixar, and he was one of the guys who was working on Toy Story before it became Toy Story, before it became this global phenomenon. And for us, or for him, and what he's brought here is he always talks about the story about going globally and going to another, to I think it was in China, where there's a graffiti, a wall, and you saw that a huge Buzz Lightyear graffiti had been done totally, in another world, to, like, 20, 30 years after, the original release of of Toy Story. And what they were able to do at that time was create a global brand that took off and really just had people, it resonated with people. And so for us, like, what is a hooligan? Who are these characters? What is it like for us? Like, it's very much so, that from a concept creation standpoint, it's creating a global brand. It's creating something that is not a a human. It's not something that it's not a robot. It's something that it doesn't matter what shape, creed, color, race, whatever you are. It's something you can all identify with in your own shape, way, or form. But at the end of the day, they're badass hooligans. They're a little bit cheeky. They're a little bit rebellious. They're a little bit like, they're cute, but also kind of badass in the same time. And it's always goes back to like taking technology, putting them together. It's two things that maybe don't always go together, but that's what the hooligans are at their core. Taking two things that don't go together, put them together, and see what comes of it.
We knew, given that, by the way, guys, just introduce myself real quick. I'm West. I'm Web3 creative director over here. So we knew that we wanted.
He's also an AI chatbot. This is not.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually It's not actually me. I trained the AI bot with my voice. So
he's an AI model, so he doesn't have any real personality.
I throw it on some Google Spaces when I'm too busy. But we knew that we wanted to test an IP that skewed a little bit older, and that frankly would be a little bit darker. We had tossed around a couple ideas. We knew we liked the rabbit. The kind of rabbit models. We had some ideas about that. Nickelodeon references were certainly
Brennan
influential.
Stimpy, Rocco's Modern Life.
Precisely. That's the stuff that we grew up on. So that was, and that's actually, there's a reason why like kind of like the pupils are like a certain size, because they're kind of all reminiscent of those early Nickelodeon cartoons. But then we obviously wanted to mix that. So one of the early like references we always kind of thought going about talking about mixing sort of textures here. We thought like, okay, what would it feel like if we got like a Nickelodeon-looking character that was in Fight Club, that was lit the same way as that like a really dark, gritty David Fincher film. That's ultimately kind of that was the substrate that a lot of the early creative kind of came from. Then obviously it blossomed into so much more.
Well, it's taking two things that may not go together. It's like, Fight Club and Nickelodeon. Put those two together.
Can we make it really kind of badass, also kind of cute and funny sort of thing, something that's cheeky and had a good sense of humor. And then also on top of that, like, the hooligan mentality, obviously, it's funny when talking about branding and stuff, like a hooligan, one, it's a great concept. We liked the soccer hooligan kind of rough and tumble rebellious thing, but also it's just a fun word. So it's one of those things, like it was an easy sort of like kind of collaborative thing to kind of land on it. And it came out pretty naturally. We knew once we had once we landed on a couple ideas, we're like, all right, this is it. This is working.
That's exactly, it's part of the creative process where you work through things that it's like throwing things against the wall. You see what sticks. Yeah. And sometimes, you get to a good idea quicker than not. But My Pet Hooligan, we really felt that taking this approach of taking, this kind of cute character, something that's not so like scary or dangerous, and then putting it together with something that is a bit more badass,
scary and dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. Put those together, and out of it, we're really happy with the result. And the hooligans are just the beginning of all these other little pieces and things that we're rolling out. So
to that whole thought too, all of this really does sort of feel like. By the way, you'll have to shut us up at some point. So, but
we just keep talking.
It is cool because the beautiful thing about Web3 is we get to do this sort of live in front of a community. So it is kind of IP creation in real time with community input. So obviously there's a lot of, kind of collaboration and sort of iterations that the entire property and the characters have gone through. But that's been like kind of like a really cool element to this whole thing where, we're more used to, traditionally you kind of make things in silos and you try to go pitch those ideas. And, there's definitely a lot of that going on to some extent with this property, but it was a little bit more open, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, guys, I'm like pretty amazed with the IP that you guys are building. It's fucking very, very cool, very cheeky. Like the rabbits, the hooligans, the graffiti, the skateboard, the everything. Like I love what you guys are doing, definitely, and watch all those trailers that you guys make. Like the game is going to be brutal, brutal. I can't wait for it, definitely. So I got a question for you guys. Like,
Please, yeah, what's up?
If you would say one game from your like childhood or from your past, what would be your favorite game that you guys played?
Well, I'll speak actually maybe really quick, just because I know that Luke and I can speak about that here ad nauseum, and we'll do so in just a moment. But first, want to shout out, our game director, who Carl,
who's now become a piece of the game.
Captain inside. Carl. The dude's an encyclopedic mind on gaming, and so a big influence of this game was Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
So and that wasn't a game I actually played much as a kid, but that there's a lot of Ratchet and Clank energy and design aspects and the feel to it. There's definitely a lot of that. And then I'll just speak for myself here. Crash Bandicoot, baby, all the way. Dude. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, and for me, yeah, definitely Crash Bandicoot was a big one. GTA was a huge one.
GTA
and Tony Hawk, SSX Tricky, all of those definitely
have all made an imprint on this game.
Yeah, and like when this game was first getting made too, it's like we all kind of like blue sky about like, oh, maybe we have skating, maybe we'll have this, maybe we'll have that in there. And it's like, you can only do what the team is capable of doing based on the resources and everything. And
it turns out they're able to do all of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, shit, dude. I was playing a build last night that. Sorry for cursing, but I was playing a build last night that. I started playing about 9:00, and I was like, all right, let's play for an hour, just kind of see where it's at. I was playing until like midnight, and it's what's amazing is that like it goes back to. The hardest thing to do is create something that people that's sticky, that's smooth, that feels good, that's fun, and that you want to keep playing. And listen, I'm not the guy out there developing it. Yeah. I'm not the director of it. I got to give the credit to the team, to the people who are really putting that work in day and night. I see the team here till late at night, early in the morning. Everybody puts in around the clock work and not just so. Yeah, big shout out to the team.
You feed them, you keep them caffeinated.
Yeah, exactly.
Little rabbit feeders.
Yeah, man. No, we got like the little rabbit feeders, the little water things out there, a little ball.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got one of those things.
Giant, like kind of gerbil balls that we run. It's a crazy place over there.
That's all I can ask for, bro. It's a beautiful, beautiful workplace. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no.
You hit on all of the classic games. Like if we grew up in the same neighborhood, guaranteed we would have been fucking like hanging out.
Dude, for sure, totally, for sure, 100%, man. Yeah.
You guys mentioned Tony Hawk, bro. There wasn't a better feeling when you score those nasty combo points in Tony Hawk, and then all those start just jumping out like boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that was fucking amazing.
Dude, also killer soundtrack on that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other part too. It's like a lot of these games that they had amazing soundtracks. They had just like it when you sat down to play it. It transported you and you felt something while you're playing it. And then also too, when you left and you stopped playing it, you think about it, you thought about it, you wanted to go back and play. And that again, that's what we always talk about. It's like, is the game sticky? Is it something that, as you leave it, you want to come back and play again? And, for us, like we're so fortunate to have that now. And that's something you can design a game to the death of it. And, you can put the best design down on paper, but will that translate into actual game development and actual, playable product? Not always. And so, by just getting out there and starting to do it, we found that we have, test it and play it. We found that we do have something that's very special. And, a lot of people call it the lightning in a bottle moment, but
it is, it really is.
Yeah. And for us, you just have to take it, harness it and
cultivate.
Cultivate, let the people, build what they like to build. And all the developers always say like, oh, we're building a game that we've always wanted to build. And like, from my standpoint, like, and from Collins and Wes and the rest of the team who's not actually like technically
we're not devs, we're not
it's about supporting and just saying like we put the input in where we can and we let them really have the runway to be as creative as they would want to be and can be. And for us, it takes a team to get there. What can we do? We support, we put input where we can and support and help it build up into being as special as it can be.
And it really is an amazing collaboration, considering, you know, the creative that we sort of, you know, that we started with was then taken and really expanded upon by the game team. And the cool thing is there's just we all got it. Everybody knew like what this was. And so there was a real feeling of sort of like, kind of feel like you're flying a little bit. Like, you know, it's sort of just like everybody was in sync and understood what this thing was. And there's an attitude and an energy and a vibe to it. So, you know, our chief Unreal architect and just amazing, you know, like one of our just, you know, engineering leads, the wizard, Kevin Mack, he says often that, you know, games aren't played, they're felt. And I think that there's an interesting insight there to think about it from those terms. It's like, okay, you know, building products is not, it's a tactile experience. Building something like this, such an intimate and really in-depth product, is a very, very tactile experience, and it needs to be felt. And there's an intuition to building something like this. And again, just to echo the same thing that we keep banging on about, but our team is amazing, and we're just really, really grateful and proud.
And also trying to bring new things into, you know, like what we've
time.
Yeah, like with you know, building off of all the things that you loved, you know, from previous games and your inspirations, but then also looking at, okay, how do we elevate gaming, and how do we take, you know, that next step as you know, like the gaming industry as a whole, not Web 2 or Web 3, but just all together. And it is blending the two. It's having, you know, assets on chain, you know, that are in the game. It's having all these other, you know, benefits of the Web3 world that enhance gaming. And then it's also bringing new technology that's outside of gaming into the gaming space with the UGC tools, the creator tools that we have, just other little pieces of AI that I'm so excited that I know if Colin pops in here,
the AI
that's all he's going to talk about. So
right
get
now.
ready.
Yeah.
But it's super exciting tech that we cannot, like, it's that we're so excited to share with everybody in the rest of the world. And you know, for us, it's just, what's the vehicle we get it out there through? It's our IP. What's our IP? It's My Pet Hooligan. It's the game.
Yeah. So, and you know, I do think that there's a almost like a misnomer when you talk about Web 2 games versus Web 3 games. The truth is we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about gaming.
Yeah, it was two roads that are now starting to come to an intersection.
Yeah, know? Ultimately, like the Web 3 tools,
intersection.
Convergence. Same shit. Yeah. But ultimately, you know, Web3 gaming, it's all about just trying to use these new protocols, these new technologies in ways that actually expand upon and enhance the player experience. And it's really all it boils down to, right? It's like, if it's enhancing the player experience, we're doing our jobs right. If it's not, then we're not doing our jobs right. It really comes down to just making a compelling and fun product. And we're using these cool new pieces of technology to do so.
Totally.
So to touch on that, so like when you guys, because I was going to ask that question, I love that you already teed it up. So, you know, building in a traditional gaming market versus Web3, obviously there's a lot more breakout room, and there's a lot of awesome tools that allow people to feel like they're a part of it, and to identify with that brand, and actually that experience, right, that you guys are pushing, you guys are selling, that people are bought into and absolutely love. But in your words, like, what is the technology like that you're speaking to specifically, or what are the things that you guys like were like, let's go Web3, like this is the thing that we want to do, and here's why.
Totally. Yeah. Well, on the Web3 front, you know, there's of course, like, you know, in-game assets that are on chain, stuff like that, and I could, Wes can dive deeper on that front. You know, of course, there's a token that'll, you know, advised by legal not to go super deep on that stuff anymore because we're redesigning stuff. We've been too transparent, according to them.
All that I can say, though, is that the community will be happy about the updates coming. But you know, just to kind of touch on a macro note about Web3 in gaming, I mean, ultimately it comes down to, again, first and foremost, it comes down to product, and it comes down to product market fit. So are people actually going to be compelled to play this game? If there's only a financial incentive to use a product, well, that's a pretty short-lived
as we've seen.
That incentive tool. Not to say that it doesn't work, in the short term, or maybe even like in the midterm, because it can. But then, you know, that you're building a very specific mechanism to do a very specific thing. You know, games are meant to be fun, so you got to first and foremost make sure that the IP in the game itself is fun. Then, I mean, we personally believe, I believe deeply that you know, decentralization and the ownership of digital assets is important, and will continue to be more and more and more important. So.
Totally.
I personally, and I think we all agree that we all really like the idea that there are rewards and there are mechanisms by which you can you can retain value for time spent in an ecosystem in a video game. That's pretty freaking cool in my opinion. So ultimately, that's just a fundamental that we believe.
Yeah.
And then from there, another, Kevin Mackism to throw on you guys is, we look at this. We know that we don't know everything, and nobody in this space knows everything. Nobody in gaming knows everything, right?
Yeah. But so early in this shit, so like nobody's an expert here.
So we look at it purely from the perspective of, okay, can we test a product? Can we keep an open mind? We look at, and Kevin Mack always says, like, we need to build playgrounds. You got to give people tools to go have fun with, to make stuff with, and then you figure out, they'll show you what the product's supposed to be. They'll show you how this is supposed to turn out. So we look at all these things as tool sets. We obviously are always going to kind of.
It was that kind of mentality that made Fortnite become Fortnite.
Exactly.
They built something that they knew was a strong product, and then they let the market guide them into what was the correct product for their community they built.
Yeah, and that's being, keeping that flexibility in the system, I think, is really important, especially for an early stage startup.
Totally.
So going back to your question, like, ultimately we believe in the notion of, rewarding people for time spent in an ecosystem and making that compelling.
Making it fun for them to be in there, because on that user's journey in game, like, you want them to want to be there. You want them to have fun being there. It's like what I talk about being like, I sat down for an hour, I played for 3 hours because I got stuck there in my own mind and in my own way. And you want to do that for everybody who's in there, and then having that be the incentive to reward players based off of like the time spent. There's all the little levers that we put in there to make it so that it's not just a one-way street, it's a two-way street, and the value that's put in value is pulled back out.
Yeah, and ultimately I think it's important to recognize that you don't. We fundamentally believe, and you can kind of go into the whole wormhole utility here, but ultimately, we fundamentally believe you should not need to know anything about crypto or about NFTs to play this game. That's not a prerequisite, and it's important that that's the case, because then any normal person who's not already like initiated into Web3 or not a crypto native can just come in and automatically start playing and customizing their player, all these different things, and eventually, we talk about this a lot. For all of us here, every single one of us had a light bulb moment when we first started playing around with crypto or NFTs. We're like, oh, cool, this shit is mine. This is in my wallet. All right, cool. There's a moment where you get it. We all ultimately want to be funneling people to that moment, and we have to do that not by espousing or talking about it. Education is a piece of it, but it's all about product design. It's like, can you smoothly make a player's journey, arrive at a moment where they own something and recognize that they actually own that thing, or that they've kind of grinded and gained certain elements that they can then extract from the game. So ultimately, I think that's an important fundamental heuristic to just to think about, and because ultimately, if we can make this game easy for people to onboard in and have fun inside of, that will eventually over time build value purely by scale.
Yeah.
Like, the more people that we get into this ecosystem, the more value that will be shared and kind of built into the overall collections and everything there. So it's kind of a simple fundamental, but I think it's powerful.
And then on the same thread, but also maybe a little bit on the separate one too, is that the tools that we've created here. Yeah, we talk about real time animation a lot, but what really at their core is that they promote and make it easy for people to create content as their virtual avatar, as their NFT, as their in-game character. And we've already seen that people they're starting to understand this more, and they're starting to want to create more content as their virtual characters. And so more folks like us and more companies like us will start to pop up and say, hey, we've created these tools. There's a handful of them already out there, but they're going to keep getting better and stronger and easier to use. And so again, having having these tools available in game is a very digestible way and gettable way for a lot of people who are in the gaming space who understand this, and for the folks who are people in the crypto space who understand oh shit, okay, I'm making content as this character as that I own, and I can now build a follower with it. So but it's providing the tools for that is another,
and there are value incentives attached to those as well. And I think that's it's an important thing to recognize that we're building the tools, building the playground, and we'll double click on what works and what our community and what our users tell us.
Create a lot of content. You get 30 seconds with Hooli. It's actually
dude. Yeah, no, there's some truth to that though, right? You're essentially providing a platform by providing that character that allows people to step into that, right? Like,
Yes.
shout out to the homie, like, Alex Becker. He gets a lot of flack
Of course.
because
Yeah.
he does this like WWE character, but he doesn't do it as, under some, a celebrity or stage name. He just does it as himself. So oftentimes he
Right.
gets
Yeah.
flack, but then, people are like, yo, I met him and he's the nicest fucking guy. And he's like, yo, dude, like, this is
Yeah,
not
man.
me. I'm just putting on a show. But you guys provide that in an outfit of like an animated character that people can like really showcase that and create a brand off of that, alongside you. I love that shit.
Entirely. Well, it's like, again, provide the tools, and
exactly.
and that creates value.
It totally does. And just wait till you see some of these other AI tools we have that are rolled out. Some of the stuff that we've been advised not to share yet publicly, but I'm sure you'll see stuff very soon. I mean, you've seen Crystal Bun.
We're kind of an open book over here.
Yeah. You'll see Crystal Bun, and as soon as Colin walks in, he'll probably just spill beans everywhere. But no, but with Crystal Bun, like, it's been an incredible the journey to figure out, okay, how do we take AI plus the patents and the tech that we have, all folded into one, roll that into game, but then how can that exist outside of the game as well? And it's crazy the kinds of things that we're starting to touch on that are much bigger than I think any one of us really anticipated. But again, it's just, for us, it's always just keep staying on the cutting edge, most, bleeding edge technology. And how do we apply our abilities into that tech and then take that to fold it out or roll it out for the masses?
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit, guys! If you're not feeling FOMO right now, I don't know what to fucking tell you. They're like, "Oh, we got this like groundbreaking technology. We can't tell you what it is, but it's gonna be insane." Let's go, dude.
Appreciate you. But in fairness, like, that's actually kind of the thing. We just had a moment, like, just earlier today and last night, like, on the stage, we're like watching okay, I'm not gonna say too much, but watching some of this tech like interact and do things. We're all just like, fuck, this is crazy.
Well, you start to you see that you're witnessing something that is never been done before, and two, like, when you actually start to like look 10 paces down the road, you're like, oh wow, this could actually revolutionize animation production. This can
1,000%.
And we're using it for, like, we're in the stone ages of the way we're using it right now, but we're like, where does this tech go in 2 weeks? It's going to be insane. Where's this go in 2 years?
Yeah, man.
It's insane.
Things are changing rapidly right now, and we also, that's one of the things I'm just super proud of and grateful to the studio for. And a lot of this comes to Colin, just being so technology forward and accepting and open to new technologies and trying new things. I mean, it's understandable. I think we're seeing a lot of crazy stuff happen right now. We're seeing an accelerated series of developments that are happening in AI, and it's going to change the creative industries pretty dramatically. And again, I think that there are two sides to that coin, right? There are good things and there may be some negative aspects of it, but fundamentally, I do think it's going to be more powerful and also going to empower more creators. And I think having an open mind about it and just being willing to play with stuff and break stuff is important. And that's very much part of our culture here.
Break stuff.
Yeah.
But ironically, aren't you guys nervous about the Zuck bots taking over, not only in My Pet Hooligan, but IRL with this AI shit? No?
I'm scared. I'm scared of it, to be honest.
It's, hey man, AI's here to stay, and we gotta. It's just like like anything else. You gotta learn it, figure it out, and like the more you learn it, the more you figure out. Like, oh, it's not that scary. But does that potential be scary? Absolutely. And we crack some things that are kind of like, whoa, this is kind of weird.
It's cautiously. I'm cautiously optimistic. There's a heuristic that I try to say frequently, which is that technology is agnostic to human problems and human desires. Like, technology is a force. Now, we don't need to go super deep into this. I personally think that it's a force in nature. But okay,
we're about to get some fucking facts right now. I'm liking this shit.
So I feel like the force of technology, I think, is a naturally occurring force in the universe. We can kind of get into what that means and why that is, but ultimately, I feel that it's something that is a natural progression, and it's a force that doesn't care. It's like gravity; it doesn't care about what humans are going through. Humans care about what humans are going through, and again, there are benefits and trade-offs to that. So I think it's on us to be aware of our needs and what we need to preserve. Why being human is a beautiful, wonderful, cool thing, and also what computers and essentially what neural nets and learning models can do well that we can't do. At the same time, like there are trade-offs and there are always flip sides to the coin. And there's definitely danger here, especially when you're playing with any sort of compounded technology. But generally speaking, cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, and
most people don't want to destroy the world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen, any technology in the wrong hands could be super dangerous.
1,000%.
And I think like listen, we like creating cartoons and fun characters.
We're making cartoons and video games
and making them talk to each other. But there's.
That sounds like the perfect cover up for an evil for an evil plot to take over the
world. Just crazy ass psyop.
Yeah.
But, no, listen, man. I don't have any problems. You said they're going to stay. Yeah, I don't have any problems with that. I'm just fearful of them terminating us. That's what I'm scared of.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, that is a possibility. There's a non-zero chance that could possibly happen. So hopefully,
yeah, man.
Well, at least it's a cool way to die, though.
Oh, totally.
Bro, let me whenever I'm talking about and I need something to do, I always start my sentence with the please.
Yes.
Because that could be written somewhere, and that could be somewhere in there.
Yo, dude, I completely, I'm always like, please do this. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Yeah. I even say thank you after, bro.
Yo, man, hey,
yeah. You don't want AI knocking on your door one day and be like, oh, that one guy was an asshole. I'm coming for him.
Yeah. No, it's definitely interesting. But it's also like what a time to be alive and be witnessing this and having an opportunity to participate and check it out. I don't know. Generally speaking, like there's a concept. I forgot what the concept is. What it's called, but it's like a Japanese like form and like design principle, which is like your mentality gets built into the products that you build. So if you build things sort of like with an emphasis on creating joy and building good things. Ikigai is a fascinating one too, but I guess it's something along those same lines, right? So it's like ultimately build good shit, or like come at it from the core and like from the source essentially, and good things will come out of it. And I generally have a lot of optimism for the human species, even as
I operate more on the field of dreams motto. Build it and they will come.
Build it and they will come. Yeah, exactly. Another good one. Yeah.
Is that Dennis Quaid?
No, that's Kevin Costner.
Yeah. So okay, so let's actually talk about like robots that we know are guaranteed evil. So let's talk about the Zuck bots. And like, first of all, that is hilarious. When I first heard about that, I thought it was a meme, but you guys actually named them Zuck bots. I love that. How did you come up with this?
I don't know.
How do we prevent them from taking over, man?
So dudes, yeah. I mean, here again, like there's something in I think like just like the culture as a whole and like the world as a whole, where it's like, there are algorithms that control like what you look at and like like what gets fed to us, and
mind control is definitely like happening right now.
Totally. And so like listen, like Meta, Facebook, all that stuff, like we've had good engagement with them. We
respect the hell of them.
Exactly. I mean, listen, what they've been able to build is something that's it's insane. But you can't help but just say like, you see the video, you see all the stuff. It's like, you did that. Let's just say this. It's an easy target to shoot for, and for us, like it within our lore and having just it poking fun in a cheeky sort of way is really kind of like the Hooligan brand, and like that. Just like we're not out here to like tear anybody down or anything.
No real hate,
but just to have fun with it, where it's like, hey, listen, these Meta Zuckbot. He controls Zuck Corporation. He has all his minions and Zuckbots. I mean, it's just something that like as like again. Sometimes there's great ideas on the floor. Sometimes there's terrible ones, and this one just I don't know if it was a good or bad idea, but it just stuck.
Well, I think the main thing that like works, and there's generally something that we'll say in like kind of writers' rooms or like when we're like in the creative process, but like you kind of have to trust the joke, and obviously you need to read the room and recognize kind of what's appropriate, what's not. But ultimately, it comes down to like it landed, and we were like, oh, this is funny. This is
Meta
this works, and so very very. I don't know. We're rolling with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love that, man, because I just think it's so good. Like you said, it's there. I think it plays perfectly into your lore of being a hooligan and a rebel. And I mean, shit, dude. Like as this thing kind of progresses, on the front of MyPad Hooligan and on Meta and stuff. I mean, yeah, I watched the Lex Friedman interview with him and give you the TLDR. Yeah, he's totally he's totally excited about VR, AR, and really putting, I guess you could say, robots, if you will, like in Quest and everything in people's homes. So I love that you guys totally hit on that, because it's great PR if nothing else. You know what I mean? Like it would be awesome to get a reaction out of him, or something like that.
Like ultimately, it does come down. Like one of the things that we understand and try to be very in tune with is branding and then the opportunities that are around that. And so that was something that we did think that was like, hey, we can roll with this.
Yeah, we can have some fun with it. And and again, it's like Meta Zuckbot's one of many high powered billionaire people who are in the public eye that we've been having some fun with in game, and also in our lore. I mean, like all the stuff with like Elon Musk and giving shout outs.
We do lots of like that, like lots of shit there and comedy there.
Yeah, so it's like it's just like what's in that pop culture public eye, and looking at it through our comedic lens and the Hooli lens.
All satire, and ultimately like you can make. I personally like when villains or the heavies in any IP or like universe are always given some humanity, and you recognize that actually they're not just pure evil. They've actually got they've got thoughts and feelings and things too. And so like in future kind of seasons of stuff, we'll probably explore sort of some of the things, even like if we get into like. Minions and generals, and then like Meta
Zuckbot takes his company on a company retreat or something like that. He's actually pretty good to his employees. A 3-day work week. And he's not a total asshole.
Yeah, no, I think that there's funny shit to explore there. For sure. That's a good bit. But yeah, so I don't know. Just like to screw around a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, don't take it too seriously. But
I think doing like Musk bots or like some Musk vehicles, I think you could easily get a good reaction out of him.
I think Musk bots actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. I know a couple of things have been thrown around. You're hitting on a nerve there. Yeah,
Bezos.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think Elon Musk would be the one that would be most likely to have fun and play back and forth with you guys. I mean, you see how supportive he is with the Dogecoin founder, and I mean, he changed the fucking Twitter logo to Doge for like a week, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's
incredible.
Nuts, and that's the funny thing too, is like trying to like a lot of this stuff writes itself, and a lot of these things, like a lot of these like these characters that they're already out there in the world and just wild and like crazy ass landscape of Web3 already doing their thing. Like a lot of this shit you can't make up as it is. Like Hooli, we always have a lot of fun writing with Hooli because like we'll be explaining like, hey, this happened in Web3 this last week. This is what's going on. He's like, dude, you can't like the shit writes itself. And you're like, yeah, it's like it's there's something already naturally really fun. I think that there's a beautiful element of internet culture that gets represented and sort of explored and joked about in Web3, and that's one of the beautiful things. That's one of the things I love about the space.
Web3 has a great sense of humor, man.
Yeah, so and we just try to lean into that,
Fuck yeah, dude. I love that. All right, so what you guys got coming up? You guys got any dates or anything that people should be watching for or keeping an eye on or get excited about that, your legal counsel will let you speak about?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing right now that we got coming up, in terms of like the game release, we got some things coming up in the next like week. Then we got a big thing coming out in July for the public beta, for the game, getting it out there. We have, a few other things with some other collections and a little this, a little that coming out. But, for us, it's all about, yes, when we launch the game, how do we make it fun for all these other, things that are on our roadmap that we get to both put out there and announce or to release and broaden or grow the community and give really fun things for the community who's been with us since the beginning. A fun journey as well. So we got some cool things coming out this summer. Yeah. This summer, what I can say is this summer is going to be a lot of fun. And we got some big milestones coming out. And again, yes, the legal advice has been to guys stop being so damn transparent with really hard dates. Yeah. All right, point taken. Yeah, Thank you.
And one, so it's like but our next community builder Alpha 1.5 is coming out here, and we're really pumped about that. So one, just getting a new build to our community, to our holders, and like that, we're really, really stoked on that. And then from there, we've got Mr. Brady. And we've got Mr. Hooli as well.
Mr. Hooli and Mr. Brady.
Hold on, guys, come say what
Let's
up.
go, baby.
Look who I found wandering around in the streets.
Oh, he does that actually. He lives in a
He actually lives out in front of the studio in a box.
How dare you? It's a very nice box.
Decorated beautifully.
Bedazzled.
Yeah, bedazzled box.
Yeah.
Somebody call the police.
Doesn't everyone live in bedazzled boxes in Los Angeles?
more or less.
Yeah,
I mean,
actually.
that's what we can afford, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
At least you're a homeowner.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did we just interrupt?
Yeah, what do we interrupt?
Okay, we're just talking about upcoming things that we got going on this summer.
And we told them that all the legal advice is now given to us by Colin Brady. So Colin, anything you say is
they're just like, don't say fucking anything.
Legal advice.
Yeah, no, we're telling them now that we
none of
have
this is financial advice.
some really smart legal folks in our lives that they tell us, guys, stop being so damn transparent.
That's a good idea.
But guys, just so everybody's aware, we've got our Chief Creative Officer, Colin Brady, in the house, and then we've also got Hooli, who's walking in. Guys, say what up.
Hey guys, this is Colin Brady, Chief Creative Officer and of these Hooligans, and they let me run around and pretend like I'm a crazy man, Willy Wonka, and
Pretend.
It's actually weird. Sometimes he wears a top hat in, and he really leans into the Willy Wonka thing.
We do have a chocolate factory.
We've been telling him, like, hey man, you're gonna have to.
He just can't get that monocle to stick in his eye.
and then we have Hooli over here, who's a man of 1,000 voices.
Oh no, just one. Hoo-hoo!
There it is. But yeah, and the cool thing is, guys, like it's going back to what we were just talking about here. Like, we've been in head down mode because it's really fucking hard to build a video game, and I think that's actually something that a lot of Web3, projects, they raised money, but then didn't realize how goddamn difficult it is to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's building a game takes. I mean, we have 60 people here in the studio. It takes a whole bunch of people, from animators, game developers, producers, artists. Hooligan is in his amazing voice, and everybody to come here to be part of moving something forward. And you can't do it all where it's like, oh, you're over here in Europe, you're over here in Canada, you're over here in California, like. There's something that really gets lost when people are not all together.
We just came back from Consensus in Austin, and I think that was one of the biggest takeaways. One, how far we are ahead. We did connect well. Shrapnel, they're a good community.
Great. And some also amazing Web3 games as well. So
there's some good stuff out there, but we're really far ahead because I think the studio had an advantage because we started with Unreal as part of the DNA.
Entirely, yeah.
All of our TV shows and movies and things that we're developing, we're all using the Unreal Engine as the foundation for our render engine. So it just happened that we also had a studio that was full of these
very talented
programmers,
game developers that knew their shit.
Yeah, so when it came time to make this game,
we were so well positioned to do it, man.
Yeah. So we're really, really far ahead, and then working together. I mean, once again, bumping into some new friends out in Austin. They were like, wait a second, you guys have like 50 people, but you're all working together under the same roof?
Yeah.
And we were like, you mean you're not?
Yeah.
I mean, most of the world still isn't.
Yeah.
And that's going to be kind of a hangover for a long time after this COVID stuff. But
COVID.
There's like a game studio that meets like a Friends marathon. I fucking love it.
Well, and I was just gonna say, like, the truth is, like, we've been in head down mode, and we have to be, because again, building this shit is not easy. But ultimately, it is really nice on kind of moments like this, days like today. It's fucking fun. We are really blessed that we get to do this shit.
You guys saw the stuff we're doing behind the scenes. Like, literally right now, we gotta go away to do some more AI prep. But we're making we have made the world's highest quality animated AI chatbots.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing right now.
Full stop.
And it's not even like a braggy kind of thing to say. It's just the reality. So we're just, every day there's like new crazy things. And the more goals I throw at the team, the more they just chew through them.
Mm-hmm.
Today, literally, we're creating 2 brand new characters, and we're just having a ball. Awesome. We have like human-y kind of cartoon Pixar kind of characters, all the way to like weird SpongeBob kind of like characters, and anything in between. And so, and then we're making the personalities and the voices really, really super high quality. So we need to run and go do that right now.
Yeah, man.
Some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for
go
dropping
do
in,
it.
guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Before
you
you guys
for
go on, I
stopping
just
by.
gotta ask.
Thank you.
I gotta ask Cooley. We asked the question of the team earlier. Colin, before you guys run, we gotta ask Cooley. Like, what was Cooley's favorite game? What was his favorite game back in the day?
Video game.
Backgammon, right?
That's exactly right. I'm a gambler. So if you can gamble with video games, that's the answer. Big on Spider Solitaire.
Let's go. Thank
Silence
you,
from the
Thank you,
community.
Colin.
You shut it down. You actually broke Wes's phone. Good job.
Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for
All right, they gotta run. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yo, guys, I saw that you're doing the weekly Hooli news. Like, I love it. I watch it every week. Can you tell me who is the guy who gets the voice for that old?
So that was the guy who was just in here, Eric. He's super talented actor.
Amazing,
yeah. And for us, like, we have a new type of technology where it is real time animation. So you have somebody in a motion capture suit. You get onto the stage, you see yourself as an animated character, and then you have to act. And then you also, if you're talented enough and in the right role, you actually have to be able to voice act at the same time.
Right.
So we've really taken like just like you would in a live action set where you have someone who can talk and act at the same time. Crazy novel concept, right?
Crazy.
But in animation, this has not really been. It's never been a part of the pipeline.
Those are two separate. Those are two
Completely.
separate like inputs.
Exactly. You have an animator animating, then you have a voiceover actor.
Acting.
Exactly.
Voice,
Exactly. So we've brought those two together and created this real time animation workflow here. And we didn't create that, people do it, but we've really perfected it into our own style.
That heavily. Yeah.
And Eric, man, he's just this top notch improv actor, and what our process allows
great
for.
Writer, just great.
Is improv acting, and that's something, or improv acting within animation, and that's something that really lends itself so beautifully to our style of animation, to our style of storytelling, to our style of content that. A lot of the stuff, we'll write it out. Wes, myself, Skyhopper, Rick, Colin, like a bunch of people here in the studio will write stuff out. And then it really takes shape once you get onto the stage and, we whiteboard it all. Yeah. And then, it's like, okay, go line by line of like, okay, so this is what's trending. And then you work it out together. And, Hooli gets into character and he's doing his bits. And it's like, sometimes you'll say stuff, you're like, ooh, all right, dude, we cannot say that part.
That's a little bit.
Take it back 10%.
Exactly. Happens all the time. Happens almost every single.
A lot of stuff gets left on the cutting room floor, but there's a lot of beauty that comes out of that improv. And for us, it's like, we can roll all day long and we can shoot stuff all day long.
Yeah.
So it's not like keyframe animation, which we do here, but it's not like that where it's like. Each joke is very, very, in traditional animation, each joke and each scene is very thought out and there's no room for improv. And so we really lean into that. So a lot of that Hooligan news stuff, we have our loose guidelines, what we want to work within, but then we allow for that improv. We allow for those kind of like the magic to happen on the floor.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was, and speaking of which, like we have a
Hooligan news. Did it go out today?
I think if it's not already out, it's going out soon. But we have so much content and just funny shit that Eric has said that's just like that's just gotten cut. That at some point we got to release like a series of just B-rolls and then dude, we've got so much funny shit.
Yeah.
But and it's funny too with Eric. We had worked with him. We had worked with him on a couple other projects, and then when we were developing Hooligans, we were like, all right, we got a thing that we know who we want to pull in and do this with, and then it was a good sort of collab because it clicked. It really worked.
Yeah, it was, and that's a lot of the time too. That's the magic of just allowing for you can't fit everything into the box you want to fit it into. Now allow for the creative process to work and to flow and be molded on the spot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, he's great, man. I remember when you guys came out with the Doge Pound skin. The week you guys came out, you came on the game talk show, and spoke with us. And we actually he showed up. Colin and Eric, we showed up as the Doge. And
Yep,
it was
of
just
course.
super cool to see what you guys were able to do. I mean, God, that was like, I think like 7 months or maybe a little bit longer ago, man. And you guys just been crushing it.
Thank you, man.
Big shout out to Dogepound as well.
Yeah, man.
Love all of them. Love that community. Love
and we got some very cool stuff that we're doing too with Doge, and even like right now, I think there was a shoot this morning for Doge, and again, it's like what Web3 did so freaking well was create certain projects created really quality IP and quality brands that maybe had their start in Web3 but can grow far beyond there. And we see Doge is certainly one of them. The community is amazing, the founder is incredible, and now it's just saying, okay, let's, yeah, man, yeah, just awesome. So it's like, how do we grow this thing, as a story and a brand with a great story, and take it further and use our technology to help do that. So we got some fun characters that have been plugged into that, and how do those characters start to get intertwined with Hooli, and the characters, the sub characters of Dom,
start to build canon that way.
Yeah, the My Pet Hooligan brand, exactly. It's like it's real time storytelling with all these communities coming together, and if we had a team double the size, we'd be pumping out double the amount of content, double the amount of stories and characters and everything. But everything happens, already so fast. But we have a lot of stuff that's been developed that we're very excited to continue to roll out.
And lately, we've really been trying to keep the main thing, and make sure that we're really focused on the game, and make sure that we're hitting that. Because again, that's not an easy thing to do, but we're proud of the work that we've done. So and right now that's kind of our everything, is just keep focused on the core product.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, we're super honored to be partnered with you guys, and to be working and growing alongside you guys. I just want to ask. So, where's your studio at? You guys are in LA, or where are you guys?
Yeah, we're in LA. We're Burbank. Anybody who's local wanted to come check it out, let us know. I mean, it's it's definitely a very unique set of creatives and tools and things that we have going on here.
Are you guys going to be at 3XP?
Yes, we are working that out right now. Looks like we will be there, and we have a couple things we're working out with those folks as well to do some pretty cool things.
Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, so I'm in Arizona, but I will be in town then, and I gotta come by. I gotta come hang with all you hooligans, and I gotta see what's happening there, man.
Yeah, come check out the studio. If you want to get in a suit, maybe we'll get in a suit.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that'd be very cool.
Do talk about motion capture shoot, not like a tuxedo or anything.
Yeah, not in a tuxedo. We don't run a suit shop, but yes, you can get a motion capture suit.
Dude, it would be hilarious. You're like, whose line is it anyways with Eric, man? It'd be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, we appreciate you for stopping by. On the 4th again. You guys have so much awesome stuff coming up. Just kind of final call to action or final words. Where should people be keeping up with you, turning notifications on, landing at, looking out for as we wrap this up?
Right now, obviously, guys, check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Discord. You can always find more info on the game and find all of our socials at mypethooligan.com or mypethoolingangame.com. Mostly just there, guys. So just keep on the lookout for our upcoming next Alpha 1.5 release, and then from there we've got big news kind of coming through the summer that we can't say at the moment. But My Pet Hooligan YouTube channel coming soon too. We've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Super excited for that one, and to see all the content we've created that'll be up there. So I promise you, there's a lot. We didn't even realize how much there was.
Thank you guys so much for having us on today. Really appreciate it.
Wait, did you say My Pet Hooligan OnlyFans? Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, My Pet Hooligan OnlyFans. Yeah. Exactly, that's right. Check us out there too.
You can see Hooligan all of his glory. Yeah, all angles.
It's actually a really good idea.
No, bro. I want to see some bunny feet pics
with rabbit ears and everything.
Yeah, ears and feet only.
Exactly. But we love you guys. Hooly hoo. Appreciate you guys so much for having us. Sincerely, from the bottom of our hearts.